away from this and that, and in today's video I'm going to be sharing a little of our adventures getting some of our second cut hay finished, as well as what I did with some grapes to preserve them for us to enjoy over the winter. Stay tuned. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm sharing something a little different. If you're new here, thanks so much for checking out this video, and welcome back to my returning subscribers. So this video is a little bit different, and I'm going to be sharing some of our haying adventures. So on day one, we cut a ton of hay trying to get our second cut done. This is my husband and my daughter on the 756 with the mower. And we had 3 big fields that we cut, and we are going to tedder and rake and dry to square bale and round bale. Waiting for that sun to come back out. Can't have dry hay without sunshine. We ended up with a lot more second cut hay than we anticipated. Normally we do 3 fields at a farm at some of the land that we lease, and usually this field's about normal. We got 3 rows that my husband raked. We got 3 rows in the field through the woods there, but the large fields usually get 5 rows all together. We got like 15, so it's going to be all hands on deck this week as we try to get hay done. Normally my husband and I can get this done, just the 2 of us, but I think we're gonna have to see if some of our friends are available to help out. Thankfully we have a nice stretch of weather for this time of year. It's about mid-60s. It's gonna be 70 in 2 days on Friday, and then this weekend is also supposed to be nice, but then we're gonna get a chance of showers at evening time on Sunday. So we are trying to get as much of this done as we can. We're really hoping we can get it done. So we'll see what happens with all of that. But right now we are just enjoying the amazing weather. Hey everyone, we're back for day 2 of tethering. It's another sunny day. It's just really chilly today. That's why I have like an ear protection under my hat today. It's very chilly, especially in the big fields, but hay is drying, so that's a good thing. I'm gonna get back to some tethering, and if you don't know what tethering is, because one thing I kind of didn't mention for people who don't know about hay is the tethering is when you are taking the rows of hay, and you'll see behind me the tedders flipping the hay into a different position, and that is so that way it will dry in the sun. The way my husband likes to do it, have the hay fluff up. When it's really wet, the tedder will kind of throw it everywhere, and as it dries, it will fluff up and neaten up the rows. And that tends to dry better because the hay gets taller and taller, so more of it is in the sun. So there's different ways you can do it, and there's no wrong or right way. It's just the way that my husband likes to do it. So, and then raking is when you take all the rows that you've cut or you've teddered and dried, and you put the rows together. Like second cut hay, you generally rake a lot of it because it's much finer and there's less. So even like this field here, a lot of these rows have been raked together because there was a lot of rows in this field to begin with, and my husband will come back in, and any of the rows that are small, he will rake together into one bigger row, so when the baler goes through, it's got a bigger row to do, a thicker row, and it gets done quicker so that it's less passes around the field and more hay going into the baler to square bale or round bale. And if you don't know hay, then you don't know what these terms are. So there's cutting the hay, there's raking the hay if it's second cut and the rows are thin, or if it is first cut, most of the time you just go right into tethering. There's tethering, and then you usually rake it again because you want to neaten those rows up really good. So that's where we're at today, another full day of tethering, and just enjoying the weather, enjoying the quiet, watching the hawks come down and look for little things to eat, and the birds to come and pick through the hay to find bugs to eat. So it's neat to come out and see the nature too while you're doing this. watch the clouds, and just think about the good things that you have in your life. So we'll be back for another day. Hopefully this hay keeps drying. For another day of tethering. So today's plan, the hay dried really well yesterday despite it being chilly. So a lot of it is dry. It's very close to being done, almost everything, which is amazing because this time of the year the sun is just not as strong as it normally is. So the plan today is we have a friend coming to help us, and I'm going to continue to tether the fields that we are not going to bale right away, that are still needing a little bit more sun to dry. My husband is going to rake, and then I'm going to jump into the hay wagon and catch the bales out of the thrower and stack the bales. I probably won't have too much footage of all this stuff. So that's the plan for today, to get a bunch of baling done. The weather's changed and gone to poop on Sunday, showers in the morning, and then it's going to be mostly cloudy for the day, and then heavier rain later at night. So not ideal conditions for getting any hay done. So everything's going to get done between today and tomorrow. Not easy, but I'll try to catch at least some snippets of stuff so that way you can see what's going on. And I'm sure tomorrow when we have more help, I'll be able to film a lot more. So this is my husband raking the rows on the inside of the field. That is the hay that is the driest because it is in the sun for the longest period of time. So the plan is to rake the whole inside of the field, and then to also rake a few rows outside of that so we can get a bunch baled up today. So here is part of what we got baled. There's already almost a full wagon, and this is a second wagon. We did have some issues today, which was unfortunate because we really wanted to get a lot more done than we did. But these things happen, and I'm very grateful. Here's the second wagon there. This is all the hay that I stacked today. These things do happen where equipment and things break down. Thankfully, my husband is a mechanic and knows a lot about his equipment. We were able to do a bush fix. Unfortunately, one of the rows of pickup teeth that are on the baler, the bolt broke, so the whole row was not picking up hay. So the pickup teeth, I'm going to try to show you really quick here. I don't know if you can see them well, but they are the metal teeth that come out and pick up the hay and throw it into the baler. And one row, unfortunately, the bolt broke, and so the row stayed folded and wouldn't come out. So we had to go at a higher speed to have the other teeth work a little bit harder, but we did get it done, and we did get some bales done. We got 8 rows on the inside of the field done, and the hay looks amazing. It's nice and dry. So having the whole inside of the field done is a huge relief, and it's a lot less that we will have to do tomorrow. It is another gorgeous day. I mean, you couldn't have asked for better hay weather. And this is hopefully our very last day. After yesterday's issues with the baler, very grateful we got at least 8 rows in the middle done. So we have 12 rows left in this field. That's what you see here. And then the 2 small pastures. But we got help coming today, so this should be fairly easy. My husband was able to fix the baler last night, and that should be good as new for today. So I am out tethering. My husband is raking some of the other fields in. He's raking some of the other rows in the smaller fields in so they're not in the shade, and then he'll come in and do the same thing with this one. I'm just at least moving the hay around with the tedder so that way we'll get some airflow and the stuff will dry, because they raked it last night and raked it in a little bit, but it needs to go up more because it gets too close to the woods, and then in the afternoon it's in shade, and we want to make sure that all of this gets dried today so that way it can get baled. But you know, we couldn't have asked for a nicer day again today. It ended up being really, really windy in the afternoon, so my husband decided to have one of our friends on the A raking the hay so that way it wouldn't blow all over the field, and then my husband and the guys were right behind about 50 feet with the 460 and the baler and the hay wagon to keep the hay from blowing everywhere. This proved to be a really, really good idea. Fields. It's a beautiful thing. So how close did you come to the final bale count? Our total was 593 bales. My husband brought home about 4 pounds of Concord grapes from a friend's house, and I decided I'd never made any grape jellies or preserves, and the easiest thing for me, because I do not have any pectin, is I figured it would be very simple to make a recipe I saw in my Ball Blue Book, which would be taking grapes and water and sugar and making a jam. So here I washed all of the grapes, and I'm going to pick through them to find the ones that are the best looking and make sure there's none that are squished or shriveled or have any deformities. I only want the best grapes to go in there. Some of the ones that are a little on the squishy side are okay, but I really want the ones that are the freshest. And I'm going to put all of these into my stock pot. And here I have taken the grapes and put them onto the stove with a little bit of water. I crushed them and boiled them because what I want to do is I want to loosen the skins so that way I can put them in my food mill. I'm going to take all of this and a little at a time put it through my food mill so that way I can take out all the skins and the seeds. And if you've never used a food mill before, they're actually a really great tool, especially for something small like this.
They're also great for taking the skins and seeds off a tomato to make sauce. I got mine at a thrift store for a very inexpensive price. The way they work, a lot of people have problems with them, is that you go around a few times and then you need to go backwards to loosen up what is caked underneath the, not really a blade, I guess it's like a paddle that goes over everything. So I go over about every 5 or 6 times around, and then I go back counterclockwise just to loosen up what is underneath. Here's just a quick look of what it looks like in the mill and what looks like underneath. It's pretty much like a purple juice underneath. It's the pulp and the juice out of the grapes, and there's all the seeds and the skins that I don't need. I want to measure exactly how much of this grape juice and pulp I have, because it's going to determine for me how much sugar I'm going to put into my preserve. And I ended up with a little over 4 cups of juice. I'm going to be using organic cane sugar in mine, but you can use any sugar. And I'm going to add a little over 2 cups of organic cane sugar. And I want to mix this up really good so that the sugar is evenly distributed throughout the grape juice and the pulp, and it's not all sitting in one spot and going to burn in the pan. Next, I'm going to add a little over a tablespoon of lemon juice. And I'm going to mix that to also make sure it's evenly distributed. I want to let this boil for about an hour or so. You'll tell by the bubbles, and when you put a metal spoon inside, you'll see that it starts to coagulate, and this is what you want it to do. Take a plate or a bowl and put it in the freezer for a few minutes, so that way it has a cold surface to cool down on. You can tell when it's getting close to done. It will not be as runny, and then when you touch it, it will be thick like a jelly. So it's not quite ready yet. So I'm gonna pour this back in, and I'm gonna test it again in another 5 minutes or so and see if it's done. While you're waiting for it to get to the right consistency, this is also a really good time to make sure the sugar is how you want it. You can always add a little more if needed. What I'm doing here is just seeing how stiff and coagulated it is, and it's starting to get really close to done. So after it was done, I am taking all of the grape preserve and I am putting it into half-pint size mason jars, cleaning them up, putting a lid on that I've warmed. I'm going to water bath these for 15 minutes. If you have never canned before, I will be sure to leave a link or two in the description box below with some safe canning practices that can get you started off with what materials and products you will need, as well as all the steps that you need to do to make sure everything is canned safely for your family. I ended up with just about 4.5 half-pint jars. The one with the white cover, this one here, is going directly in the fridge. The other ones were water bathed, so they are all set and ready to put away after 24 hours. Thank you so much for watching this video about our second cut hay and also some great preserves that I made. If you enjoyed this content, I hope you will consider subscribing and checking out more videos of this nature. As always, my friends, stay safe and be well.